Is it better to be house rich and cash poor or cash rich and house poor? Let's talk about it. Now, we all need some place to live. I get that. So, you gotta have shelter. So, it makes sense if you can to get you a house. But you want to get that house at the right price. You don't want to get a house that's eating up all your money that you don't have any money left over for anything else. That's house rich, cash poor. Now, if the house is paid for, you're in a good situation. And especially if that house is building up equity. That means that, now you're building and accumulating wealth, right? So that makes sense. But what's the downside to being house rich? Well, house rich means that it's not really benefiting you unless you sell the property or you take out some type of loan on the property, like a second mortgage or a line of credit or an equity loan, things like that. Now, what that's also doing is also putting debt back on the books because people think, well, I'm house rich. Yeah, you're house rich, but if you got to take out the loan to access that money in your house, it's actually putting you in more debt. Now, how could it benefit you? In my opinion, and these videos are general information purpose only videos. If you really need professional help, you gotta seek out a licensed professional. These are just my opinions, things that I deal with in my own personal life, and it's not advice to you. Okay? So if, let's say I got a house and it's paid for, right? And let's say it's worth $200,000. Well, the benefit of that is I don't have a mortgage to pay every month. I'm good there. And the only thing I really have to set aside money for is my taxes and insurance. And if you want to set aside a couple of dollars for future repairs, that's it. Opposed to having a mortgage where you gotta pay that $15 or $2,000 or whatever your mortgage is every month, and then you still have to live. So it makes sense if you got a house to pay that house off as soon as possible. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can let's say if you got a little extra money that you can pay towards your mortgage. You can do a bi-weekly mortgage, and with that, you have an extra mortgage every year. And they say that knocks off about 5 years off a 30-year mortgage. Or let's say you can figure out what is a 15-year mortgage amount would be every month, and you can pay that, but you got a 30-year. Now, what's the benefit of that? If you do a 15-year mortgage, now they're going to hold you to that. But if you got a 30-year mortgage and you paying it like it's a 15-year mortgage, well, the months that you can't do it, well, then you go back to paying your 30-year mortgage. And then this way you don't get yourself caught up. So what are some of the solutions to being cash poor but house rich? Well, the things that I would do, I would have like a liquid asset. And you would say, well, Kate, what is a liquid asset? A liquid asset is like stocks, 401ks, a CD, savings account, even cryptocurrency, cash, and a rental property. Believe it or not, if you got a rental property, now that's a liquid asset, especially if you pay all your bills every month on that rental property and you get something left over for you. Let's say if the person is paying $2,000 a month for rent And after all expenses on that property that you have to pay every month, and you get $200 to $300 over for you, that's liquid. That's liquid assets, because now you're generating liquid cash. Anything liquid is anything that you can assess and have access to without jumping through a lot of hoops. Whereas stocks, you can cash those in and get your money. 401k, you have to take out a loan if you're working somewhere. But if it's a individual 401k, then you can access your cash. And I think a CD works like, if it's a 3 month, 6 month, 1 year, 2 years, you can access that too. But I think if you do an early withdrawal, then you got a penalty to pay. Then you also have savings accounts, whereas you can save, and if it's giving good interest, let's say inflation is at 3%, and if the savings account is giving you like 4% or 3.5%, anything above inflation, well, you're not making a lot of money, but you're not losing money either. That's why when they tell you you lose money when you have money under your mattress, it's because inflation is beating it out. Because if inflation is at 3% and your money is under your mattress, well, you're not getting any interest under your mattress. You're just getting convenience. So stocks generally will probably do well in a bull market, about 7%. So which is good. And cash, of course, is cash. So those things. If I had like a house that's paid off, I would probably not want to be totally house rich. I would probably want to be liquid rich, meaning that the things that I just named would come to my rescue a lot quicker than trying to take out a loan on my property and getting it appraised and all these other things. You want quick access to your cash. So if your house is paid for, and even if it's not, you still want to do those things too. So this way you don't have to bother with your house. And let's say if you're at retirement age, you may want to do a reverse mortgage, even though it's a lot of fees entailed with that. And also, I think they only give you like a third of your money. They're not even giving you half of it. So let's say you got a house worth $200,000. You're lucky to get maybe $50,000, $60,000 of that $200,000, and then you got to tack on all the fees that they charge as well. But that's for another video. Again, this is Kay, back at it with a new video. Take care.